In this video, I'm going to be talking about the things I wish I knew before starting Amazon KDP. I've been on KDP for about 1 year and 2 months, and if you're interested in a few tips, then watch the rest of this video. I'm going to be discussing 5 different tips, and as always, if you want to skip to a particular tip, you can see the timestamps in the description below. So your first couple books won't be great, and I'm saying this just to set expectations, as the start is often the hardest part of the journey. You're going to have all the energy, you're going to be excited to make some money online, but you'll quickly realize that it involves more work than you expected. So within this, it's important to kind of take the pressure off your first books. They're not going to be perfect, but just get used to doing the research, finding the right keywords, creating an interesting description, and then getting used to the upload process. So what I'm going to do is actually take a look back at my first book, and I'm just doing this as an example for all you lot to see, because at the time I thought this book looked really nice, that it was going to sell really well. But now looking on it from roughly a year on, I would say the cover doesn't look too bad. However, I do think the word notebook could be aligned a little bit more to the center. But in terms of the title, I haven't really targeted any specific group, any age. My thinking literally behind this book was that it was summertime, and so people might be interested in a notebook, but I didn't really take the time to do the research, see if this book would be in demand, or even try to find out if the summer niche would be saturated or not. The description also isn't great as well. It's kind of all just clustered together. I really didn't know how to format that at the time. I also think even the pen name that I've chosen, there isn't really anything unique. I think quite a few people now have gone in and kind of published under that pen name, and I don't even publish under that pen name anymore. But it's just to give you an idea of kind of where I started, as the book got lost in the sea of Amazon books. But I would say I have massively improved from this point. But the main tip in this area is just not to be too worried about your first couple books if they're not making sales. It might even be useful to get somebody who does have experience in KDP to look over your books, and they may be able to give you a little bit of guidance. So one of the things that I also wanted to talk about is that there is no perfect niche out there. One of the things that you can do as a beginner is spend too much time researching, trying to find that life-changing niche, that you fall into the habit of watching videos, buying software, courses, reading blogs, almost spending all that time gaining knowledge. And sometimes it doesn't help when you watch a lot of these videos that talk about these 5, 10, 20k niches, as it can cause you to think, if I create books in this niche, then I will make that amount of money. But oftentimes, a lot of these niches are quite saturated. And most times, if you really found a good niche, then most likely you would keep it to yourself. So it's much better to spend more time trying to upload, get a lot of data for yourself, and find out what really works for you. It's what really made the difference for me when I started to upload and create books in areas where I had a knowledge, I had some understanding of that area, and I could add some sort of value and something different to the books that had already been created in that area. So don't waste time looking for that perfect niche, as it's not out there. So with celebrating the small wins, you've probably heard it before, but it is something that is really useful to apply to your KDP journey. It helps you stay on track and enjoy the process a lot more if you're focusing on the small things that are going well. Maybe you're able to sell a few more books in a week, or in a day you make the most sales you've ever made, and maybe you write these things down, you keep a record of this, so in the more challenging times, maybe when your orders are low or you didn't make as much expected within a month, you're able to look back on these things and remember the progress that you have made, and it just keeps you going, because it's so easy to lose sight of the progress that you are making if you're constantly looking at how much other people are making, instead of being focused on your own path and just appreciating the journey that you're on. I think this will be one of the most important points, just having consistency during the process. As the saying goes, that we are the sum total of our actions. So just making sure that you have a schedule that works for you. So for example, my schedule involves on a Monday and Tuesday, I'm doing the research for the next books that I want to create. I'm looking into the keywords, I'm making sure I'm getting the descriptions done, making sure the title and the subtitle is right and that there is demand for the niche that I'm going for. Then on the Wednesday and Thursday, I'll try and work on the designs, making sure the cover is right, the interior is unique as well. And then the Friday and Saturday will just consist of uploading, and then Sunday will just be resting. So I'll just try and take time off completely away from KDP and work on other things that I have to do. But I try and give myself 2 days to at least do each part, just in case maybe one of the days I may be a little bit busy. But I feel that splitting up each part of the process and just giving yourself 1 to 2 days to really focus on each part allows you to create a lot more quality and also focus on doing the best you can for each part. As oftentimes what can happen is, if you don't have a structure in place, then you often find yourself just creating books week after week, and then you find yourself almost overloaded, overrun, and that's when you feel like maybe giving up or taking some kind of time away because you're just frustrated with the sales. But if you have a consistent kind of schedule or structure that you're following week after week, just stick with that. Make sure that you are getting some rest involved, because print on demand can be quite exhausting. Just make sure that you take the time off as well and put your mind onto other things. So I think with the final point, just rounding off everything, kind of speaking about ads, because it's something that I have been questioned about a little bit. So I do think if you are a beginner starting out and you haven't done the work of research, designing a good cover, then ads are really not going to help your book at all. Ads are really just going to compound the work that you have already done. So if you have not taken the time to do the research and then find out if there is demand for a book or if the niche is saturated, then even if you were to run ads, it might be very, very difficult for your book to be found. But in the opposite hand, if you have done the good research, you've got a good title, but if the cover isn't good, you might get a lot of views on the book, and you may even get quite a few clicks on the book, but as the cover isn't great, people are not going to be interested in buying the book. And if you are getting a lot of clicks on your book, then your ad spend is going up, and essentially you're actually losing money. So it is important that you take the time to do the work first. Make sure you've done the research, make sure you've got a good cover, make sure that there is demand for your book in the first place. And I would definitely say it helps if you're already getting organic sales as well, because with my strategy, I only would really run ads if the book has at least sold twice, just because I know it's already getting sales. And as I've said before, ads are only going to compound what is already happening, because if your book is already getting sales, then if it's going to be shown to more people, then ideally it's going to get more sales. But as I've been saying before, this is something that I'm going to go over in probably one of my next 2 to 3 videos. So those are just 5 tips for Amazon KDP beginners. If there's anything else you'd like to know, then just make sure you comment down in the description, and make sure you like and subscribe for more content about making money online. Thanks for watching.